Hello, good evening. Thanks so much for joining us and thanks for welcoming us into your homes tonight. My name is Nafa Alikwaku. Now, coming up in tonight's bulletin, the NDC has shared the ruling NPP apart over the persistent increment in fuel prices. And anesthetics across the country are bemoaning lack of requisite logistics to deliver quality healthcare. In business tonight, sale of some assets, the country is broke. This is from the Director of Business Operations at Delex Finance to government. Finally, in sports, we'll bring you major highlights of the Ujura Beach Soccer Cup as a cinema emerged winner. News is proudly brought to you by Asatec Roofing Sheets and Cookware, and as well as Blue City Ties and Accessories, Yaxon Herbal, CB Herbal, and Sonotech Medical and Diagnostic Center. It's still the pink month, and so if you've not gotten yourself screened for breast cancer, do well to do so. On to our very first story. Former President John Dramani Mahama has reiterated that but for a lot of scheming that occurred during the 2020 general elections, the NDC would have won. Speaking on Global FM earlier today, as part of his thank you tour of the Volta region, Mr. Mahama noted that the 2020 elections is the worst elections ever held in the country.
This has been one of the worst elections we've had. There was ballot stuffing. We caught some people with ballot papers in their pockets, but there are others that we didn't catch who were able to stuff them in the ballot boxes. And so, yes, I cannot grade this election as the EC commissioner is saying as the best. It's the worst.
So I was just about asking that. She says it's one of the best.
It's the worst we've ever had. Worst we've ever had. We've never had an election where 8 people have been shot in the process and killed. You understand? And I mean, you say that is the best election. We've had elections over and over again. People we go through the process. We don't have people killed, you know, during an election process. And for a party that went from 4-point-something million votes to 6-point-something million, almost 6.3 million, how can you say there's no hope? There definitely is hope. But for a lot of scheming that took place, the NDC would have won the 2020 elections. I do believe that we did win, but a lot of things went untoward. And so even though power didn't come into our hands, it doesn't mean that, you know, we do not have the prospects of winning. I mean, we won the majority in Parliament, but you saw what happened on the day.
Yeah.
In many of the collation centers, they injected soldiers in there and forced the electoral officers to pronounce results that were not real. If you take the case of Seshiri also, the polling station where I won the presidential, that polling station ballot box for the parliamentary was asked to be brought to the regional center, regional collation center, instead of the district collation center. That last ballot box, and on the way it got missing. And based on that, they declared the NPP the winners in Seshiri. I mean, those are some of the things that happened.
Could I have changed the narrative?
It would have changed the narrative. In Senate West, luckily a judge sorted that out. When they were losing, they picked a ballot box and ran away with it. I mean, what kind of democracy is this? And when you listen to people like Lord Comey and thinks it's about power, to me, it's not about the welfare of the people. It's not about the will of the people. He says if you get power, you shouldn't hand it over to anybody. What do you mean by that? It's the sovereign will of the people who elect you to serve. You know, but when arrogance of power sets in, then you hear people speak so carelessly and recklessly. I think it's most unfortunate.
Still on issues rising from the former president, he has bemoaned the lack of entrepreneurial skills training in schools, and according to him, many students only go through grammar education. Proffering some solutions to the current spike in youth unemployment across the country, which security analysts and experts are warning that it is a threat to national security, Mr. Mahama noted all technical and vocational schools should benefit from the free SHS initiative to equip students with the requisite skills so that they can find something to do when they are out of school. He spoke on Global FM as part of his tour of the Volta region.
We're pushing all the children into free SHS. We've ignored technical education and secondary technical education because these are areas where if the children go, they can acquire skills that would make them able to set up their own businesses or be able to get businesses in the world of work. Right now, if you come out of SHS and you did business or you did arts or you did something, the chances of you getting a job are very slim. If you go to university and you do the humanities, the chances of you getting a job are very slim. Now, the whole of the public sector is 700,000 people. You understand? Ghana's population is 30-point-something million. Every year, out of senior tertiary education, you have almost 100,000 young people qualifying. How many can be employed in the government sector? Because if you look at what business and industry are looking for, they're not looking for humanities. They're looking for people who have technical education. They're looking for excavator operators. They're looking for crane operators. They're looking for civil engineers. They're looking for steel benders. They're looking for those kinds of people. But yet, most of our children are going through the secondary grammar education and coming out, and they can't find a job because they don't have the skills to be able to enter the world of work. And that's why if you look in our manifesto, we said we must do a pivot. You understand? It's not that you brought free SHS and you produce hundreds of thousands of young people from free SHS, but what skills did you give them coming out of free SHS so that if they cannot find work, they can do something for themselves? What skills are you giving them in entrepreneurship so that they can do work for themselves?
The Minister of
Foriata has advised fresh graduates from the University of Professional Studies to start their own businesses. According to him, government's payroll is full, therefore adding more numbers to the already crowded public sector payroll will be unsustainable, hence the need for these fresh graduates to venture into entrepreneurship.
The Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, has boldly advised fresh graduates from the University of Professional Studies Accra UPSA to start their own business. According to the Finance Minister, the government's payroll is full with no space to accommodate new employees to the public sector. He said it will keep adding to the unemployment figures in the public sector. Most people look for a job from government or state institutions, but that payroll is full. I can tell you that because we are spending about 60% of our revenue on remunerating some 560,000 people, and that is not sustainable, he said. Mr. Ofori-Atta said, it is the role and job of the government to create the needed enabling environment, establish micro-stability, and ensure that citizens have the right to skill set.
So the future for you with regards to jobs, of course, is the most important thing at this stage. We have gone through a period where most people look for jobs of government, etc. That payroll is full. I can tell you that because we are spending some 60% of our revenue on remunerating some 650,000 people, and that's not sustainable. The question then really is whether UPSA has trained you to be entrepreneurs. And your question will be, where will I get the financing from, etc. But you do and you have the skill set to be able to do what you have to do. Our responsibility as government is to create the environment of macro stability, currency stability, and ensure that you have access to the relevant skills and financing. So this budget that we are going to be doing is going to really focus on the youth and budget. And tomorrow we have a program here looking at what the youth demands and how we can structure the next 2-3 years of the Ghana Obatampa program to ensure that you become your own bosses and you become entrepreneurs. So it's a new world out there where you need to, it's not a factory that is employing 10,000 people, but it's individuals like you employing 2, 3, 4, 5 people to create that energy and engine for our country to transform.
Meanwhile, a former Deputy Minister of Food and Agriculture and MP for Akim Stradro, Kennedy Nyankon Osei, has buttressed what the Finance Minister said. The lawmaker, taking to his social media handle, noted he would not be surprised that in some years to come, the country will be spending its entire revenue in paying public sector workers with nothing left. Preferring solutions, the former deputy minister asked government to enter into a compulsory redundancy program to lay off at least half of the current public sector workers and use those monies that will be saved to compensate them by setting them up to run their own businesses. This practical approach, he observed, will free the government wage bill of about 17 billion Ghana cedis. In conclusion, he said the 17 billion can be put in an entrepreneurship program or funding to support young entrepreneurs and individuals with bankable businesses to run their own companies without depending on government for jobs.
Now, the National Democratic Congress has described as insensitive and bad President Akufo-Addo's leadership. Speaking at a presser earlier today, the National Communications Officer of the party, lawyer Sami Jemfi, observed that Ghanaians are suffering under the Akufo-Addo-led administration over the persistent increment in fuel prices that has skyrocketed prices of commodities and goods, which in effect has affected general lives of Ghanaians.
A crate of eggs that used to sell at 12 Ghana cedis in 2016 is today selling at a whopping 26 Ghana cedis, just to mention a few. And like I said, we gathered these prices before the latest increment. And so our projections are that from Monday going, next week going, the prices will go up again. This picture looks scary for many Ghanaian families and households, as it has become a constant struggle for many Ghanaians to afford 3 square meals a day. The reality is that times are very tough. The system is hard and pockets are dry. Car owners are suffering. Taxi drivers are suffering. Trotro drivers are suffering. Trotro mates are suffering. Uber drivers are suffering. Bus drivers are suffering. Passengers are suffering. Journalists are suffering. And Ghanaians in general are suffering. Sadly, the state of economic hardships and hopelessness in the country keeps worsening by the day with no end in sight. All as a result of the insensitive and bad leadership of the deceptive Akufo-Addo Bawumia MPP government. The question we would want to ask President Akufo-Addo and his 419 Jukla Vice President Dr. Bawumia is, what has happened to their much touted promise to move Ghana from taxation to production when elected? What has happened to their campaign rhetoric that Ghanaians were being overtaxed by President Mahama, and their promise to develop Ghana through tax incentives? It bears reminding ourselves that in the run-up to the 2016 general elections, these masters of political chicanery, President Akufo-Addo himself, ably assisted by Dr. Bawumia, told Ghanaians in the Akan language that yet Sikaso is welcome there. To which Ghanaians were sitting on money, yet we were starving. Now, the question we ought to be asking is, where is the money they claimed we were sitting on? You would further recall, ladies and gentlemen, that in the run-up to the 2020 general elections, these same two people, Dr. Bawumia and President Akufo-Addo, asked the good people of Ghana to give them 4 more years to do 4 more for them. Is the imposition of draconian taxes on Ghanaians, which has led to persistent increases in fuel with its concomitant, effects on general prices and cost of living, what they meant by 4 more years or 4 more to do more.
Else were the aggrieved candidates of the 2021 Ghana School of Law entrance exam have declared its support and readiness to join the National Association of Law Students on an intended demonstration against what the association describes as injustices at the Ghana School of Law on Wednesday, October 20, 2021. In a press briefing earlier today, the group said this move is in line with its quest to demand reforms to the regimes or the national legal education regime. Tony Barr is the conveyor of the group, and he spoke to Nanaya Adoa.
Well, I think the National Association of Law Students are organizing demonstration on our case. And it is fair that when somebody is doing something on your behalf, you render support. So we are going to be there, and we are going to support them in this demonstration to let the general public know that we have written examination and we have passed, and therefore they need to consider us and be admitted into the school. So Wednesday is a demonstration day, Red Wednesday, and we're going to demonstrate. We're going to support them to demonstrate. The 499, the National Association of Law Students are organizing demonstration, and we're going to support them.
I'm a mother of 4. I've put in my best. Not once have I written this exam. I've written it more than 3 times. And I'm always at 49 or 48. So obviously, yes, I'll become frustrated with what is happening now. Yes, I passed. I crossed 50 and more. So I don't know why I put in so much effort. I left my kids home, went to stay in a hostel for 3 months studying. I was studying till my butt hurt. And by God's grace, I've passed 50 and more. And they are saying, no, this is a new rule.
At the end of the day, every law student who sat for that entrance exam, it was the expectation of the person that admission to the Ghana School of Law is based on merit. And this has been something which even the former Chief Justice, Sophia Akufo, retreated in her justification for not expanding or admitting anybody at all into the law school, because they needed quality, and you need to justify that. So at the end of the day, the justification is you sitting for the entrance exam, and you're expected to pass. 50%, everybody knows 50% is the pass mark. For this belated rule to be applied 50-50, it doesn't make sense in law.
It's very traumatizing if you look at the nature of the exams that we wrote. Anybody who has written the exams, and I'm sure the organizers of the exams know how difficult it is to pass these exams. And so for you to pass these exams and then you will be denied admission, it's frustrating. Honestly, some of our colleagues, when you listen to them, some of them are even contemplating suicide. Yes, I'm telling you, I'm being frank with you. Somebody wrote 5 times, and this is the 5th time she has had 53. And you denied her admission. All the years she writes, she gets less than 50. This year she had 50. And you are denying her admission, bringing technicalities which were never known to us prior to the exams. And that is our predicament. Nobody is speaking for us. Nobody is speaking for us. It's like we are orphans. We don't have anybody who is speaking for us. We passed the exams. This year we passed the exams. One of the professions that nobody completes and takes certificate to go to someone's office to look for work or burden government with work is a legal profession. And people have passed. Why do we deny them? That is our concern. And we are asking the president to come to our aid. We are asking the Chief Justice, Justice Enin Yeboah. He is the head of the GLC. He supervises justice in this country. So we are pleading with him and his office to let justice prevail to these 499 students who wrote the exams, and they know, everyone at the General Legal Council knows what the 50% means. There's no definition for 50% anywhere in the world. We are all involved. We are all involved. We are all involved in building a
to a very sad story. The Ghana Police Service says it has commenced investigations into the circumstances leading to the death of 2 children aged 3 years in a broken down vehicle at a mechanic shop at Alajo here in Accra. According to a statement released on Sunday, October 17, 2021, the bodies of the children were found on Friday, October 15, 2021, in the back of a passenger seat of a broken down Mercedes-Benz that was parked at a mechanic shop. The bodies were conveyed to the police hospital morgue for preservation and autopsy after crime scene experts had examined the scene. The statement signed by the Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, Alexander Kweku Obeng, further advised parents and guardians to take the safety of their children seriously and to always keep an eye on them whenever they go out to play. That's notwithstanding, automobile mechanics are also entreated to enclose their shops to control access to unauthorized persons, including children. They must ensure that children and suspicious persons found loitering around their premises are reported to the police for immediate action, the police service urged. Meanwhile, the Ghana Association of Certified Anesthetics have called on the Ministry of Health and other relevant stakeholders to, as a matter of urgency, address the numerous challenges they are faced with. Major highlights of the challenges, according to the General Secretary of the Association, Frederick Kwame, are requisite logistics, among others, needed to deliver quality health care. He made this call as Ghana joined the rest of the world to mark World Anesthesia Day on Saturday, October 16, 2021.
The CRA is confronted with a number of challenges, more especially when it comes to the territories, the districts. There are issues with machines, monitors, basically resources that to achieve the anesthetists to work with are a big challenge. The second one is about the career progression of the CRA. You finish your first degree expecting to progress academically or clinically as far as your work is concerned, the options are not there. So you practice, you finish your first degree, and you have to practice your entire life. It's a challenge. This modern day world, elsewhere in other generations, practice of anesthesia, our practitioners enter and exit at a PhD level with sub-specialties. In anesthesia, there are sub-specialties, there are areas you can specialize. For example, for pain management, critical care management, obstetric anesthesia, pediatric anesthesia. There are a lot of sub-specialties under the area of anesthesia, which we think the stakeholders involved, more especially the Ministry of Health, should consider, look at the enormity of work that the CRS do, and the critical role they play as far as the health delivery system in Ghana is concerned. Look at these issues and immediately address them for us to have the quality of healthcare that our people need.
Let's move away from that, and Ghanaian youth have been urged to venture into agriculture to sustain Ghana's tourism. Speaking on AM Ghana Breakfast Show earlier today, founder of AFSTA Tours, Madam Stella, called on tour operators in Ghana to implement effective measures to promote local tourism. She further underscored the need for strict enforcement of sanitation bylaws across the country.
Yes, and then the use of the land. Everywhere something is planted. Can be, I think, cassava, but nicely done. So every section, the housing, the residential areas or whatever, they have planned a garden. A garden, maybe something to eat. If you don't want flowers, plant cassava, okra, and tend to them. That is what amazed me.
Oh, wow.
Especially.
Wow.
So you can see that it helps with sustainability. It is sustaining their tourism.
Yeah.
Because you go there, you want to go again, and the people are happy. That people are also coming to see how clean they've embraced cleanliness. If you want to compare that to Ghana, yes, we want to make it the cleanest city in Ghana. How will you do it? The laws are already in the books. The books have been closed for years, so we need to enforce it. Tell your neighbor, don't drop it there. You eat the fan yogo, you just automatically drop it. Let us help each other, draw the attention of each other. We have to do it word of mouth. Help. We should help ourselves. Please help us to keep our
environment clean.
And on tonight's health segment, every human being is known to have some percentage of mental disorder, mood swings, or emotional feelings bound to occur among humans. However, persons living with bipolar disorder experience lots of mood swings and emotional stress, illness, as well as other maniac depressives. Many conversations and analysts have made it clear, and research has finalized that bipolar patients live amongst us.
Bipolar disorder is a serious mental illness characterized by extreme mood swings. It includes extreme excitement episodes or extreme depressive feelings. It is common amongst people between the ages of 18 to 35. In bipolar disorder, the dramatic episodes of high and low moods do not follow a set pattern. Someone may feel the same mood state, depressed or manic, for several times before switching to the opposite mood. This disorder has a lot of symptoms, which includes extreme happiness, hopefulness and excitement, irritability, anger, fits of rage and hostile behavior, restlessness, agitation, rapid speech, poor concentration and judgment, less need for sleep, unusually high sex drive, amongst others. All that said, it is a chronic condition that involves intense mood swings which disrupts everyday life from extreme highs to extreme lows. This condition has two main types which depict its seriousness. These types include bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. Bipolar 1 is characterized by one or more disorder episodes of mania or mixed episodes, which is when you experience symptoms of both mania and depression. Bipolar 2 is diagnosed after one or more major depressive episodes and at least one episode of hypomania, with possible periods of level moods between episodes. According to research, a lot of people are living with a bipolar disorder, but it's seen to be a normal. A lot of people cannot state the discrepancies between depression with bipolar disorder. Speaking to White Nana Yaljima, a psychologist at the Pantang Mental Hospital, he elucidated on bipolar causes and its symptoms and how to deal with people with bipolar disorder.
Bipolar disorder, formerly it was known as manic depression. So this is a mental health condition that causes extreme mood swings, okay? That can include emotional highs, okay? Yeah, so the emotional highs here could stand for mania or hypomania and low depression. When you become depressed, okay, you may feel sad or helpless and lose interest or pleasure in most activities. Just as I've said, when your mood shifts to mania or hypomania, that is less extreme than the mania, you may feel euphoric. You see, most of the times they feel euphoric, so full of energy or unusually irritable. Do you get it? So this mood swing can affect your sleep, even your energy, your activity, your judgment about the world, behavior, and even your ability to think clearly. That is for the bipolar. Episodes of mood swings may occur lately or rarely, okay, multiple times in a year. So in a year, one would experience these mood swings consistently over a year, whilst most people will just experience some emotional symptoms between maybe the episodes. Some wouldn't even experience any of them. Bipolar, although it's a lifelong condition, okay, it takes a lot of time. Although it's a lifelong condition, you can manage your mood swings. Maybe you go for treatment. In most cases, it is treated with medications and psychological counseling, also known as a psychotherapy. You can talk about increased activity, okay, energy or agitation, and you realize that this person, that is not how he is, or that is not how she was. But you realize that it got to a point in time, he has increased the activities that he usually does with a lot of energy. You can talk about decreased need for sleep. They don't like sleeping. They sleep a little, then they open their eyes. They don't like to sleep. Unusual talkativeness, like every time someone who doesn't talk, now you realize that the person talks so much, like so much. Distractibility is another symptom you have to look out for. At times some are weird, like someone that you know, this is how you know him, but it gets to a point you realize that he's acting in a weird manner. You can also talk about exaggerated sense of self-well-being and self-confidence. However, a manic or a hypomanic episode has to have occurred for a person, okay, to be diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Depressive episodes of bipolar disorder should not be treated as major depression. That is one of the mistakes most people do. You don't treat a bipolar disorder as a major depression. No, it's two different things. As antidepressants, okay, can trigger manic episodes in people with bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder is less common than major depression. It's very, 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 very not common, but often far more impairing.
The news is proudly brought to you by Verna Mineral Water, Sonotech Medical and Diagnostics Center, and CB Herbal. I'll be back with some business news. Do stay.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
CB makeup now. I'm correct. Why your best mankasa? That's it. Oh, middle. You captures about one CB men capsules. Me see CB men capsules and I make a yen.
Yeah, CB men and women's capsules. Now, you knew the dada. And 1 year packaging I had a pepper.
Wow! What a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules, no packaging is out. And you also no mood any bianza wako do mpegi.
Share a painful any about town man kwada no for. Any kwada won di fie do ni. En ka ho.
Susanna.
Dodo Afre 0247 111671 and 0246.
You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and the manner in which you live. I am Priscilla Sewamenu, Miss Health Ghana 2020. The month October is noted for breast cancer awareness, and this October, Sonotech Ghana is partnering with Miss Health Ghana to bring you breast cancer awareness campaign dubbed Pink It Out. So from the 1st to 31st October, Sonotech Ghana is offering free breast screening for all women out there. Plus, you get 20% off mammogram and 50% off ultrasound scan if you need one at any of their branches. The campaign is on. Join the campaign, support women, encourage women to come for screening, and support women living with breast cancer. On this note, I will entreat all my sisters out there to come detect it, treat it, and defeat it, because early detection saves life. Thank you.
Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to go onto Facebook and you get this news live also there. On to our very first story in business. The country's most anticipated and biggest economic conference and the Ghana Economic Forum starts today at the Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel here in Accra. This year's edition focuses on the youth and will be held under the theme Strengthening Homegrown Policies to Underpin the National Digitization Drive and Shared Financial Prosperity. The three-day event will be chaired by the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, Dr. K.K. Sapong, and will assemble experts from various sectors of the economy to discuss different solutions for economic development.
The country's most anticipated biggest economic conference, the Ghana Economic Forum, GEF, starts off today, Monday, 18th October 2021, and is expected to last for 3 days and will end on the 20th of October 2021 at the Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel in Accra. This year's edition focuses on the youth and will be held under the theme Strengthening Homegrown Policies to Deepen the National Digitization Drive, a Shared Financial Prosperity. The three-day event is chaired by the Chief Executive of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, Dr. K.K. Sapong. The theme for the 10th edition of the Ghana Economic Forum will explore strategic and realistic homegrown policies which has propensity of stimulating economic growth. It will equally discuss the digitalization agenda of government and how it would help develop cashless economy and hence financial inclusiveness. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, in his keynote address, noted that
the achievements in the payment ecosystem would not have been possible without a solid payment infrastructure base and sound regulatory frameworks that have supported the process. Let me briefly highlight a few of the domestic policies that have spurred Ghana's advancements in the payments and settlement systems. First, the Bank of Ghana laid the foundation for the payment system to thrive by providing this payment systems infrastructure. In particular, you can recall the setup of the Ghana Interbank Payments and Settlement System, the Real-Time Gross Settlement System, the Check Code Line System and Clearing System, the National Biometric Smart Card e-Switch System, and the National Switch and Processing System, DH-Link, to create a solid framework for market infrastructure to underpin the payment systems and promote financial inclusion. To further address the need for faster payments, the bank introduced the KIPS Instant Pay, a real-time utility solution to support instant funds available for customers, as well as the mobile money interoperability platform to facilitate transfer of funds across mobile networks and bank accounts. In 2020, the bank launched the universal QR code to scale up affordable and interoperable merchant payments. There is also the hybrid DH Link card, which is an EMV-compliant card that facilitates both biometric e-tweet transactions and PIN-based transactions at the point of sale.
The Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry subsequently noted in her keynote address,
"Our homegrown automated policy is among the best on the continent. The evidence is this. We have 2 major vehicle assembly plants in Ghana by major brands, with 4 more in the pipeline to be commissioned soon. The development of the policy is premised on the fact that the automotive assembly and component manufacturing industry is universally recognized as key strategic sector for stimulating multiplier effects in terms of industrial transformation and as a powerful driver of employment, foreign investment, innovation, and economic growth. One key theme that stands out of our auto policy in respect of homegrown characteristics is its focus on component manufacturing, which is designed to ensure that a local supply chain of components and parts are locally manufactured for the auto industry.
It will also assemble experts from various sectors of the economy to discuss and analyze different solutions for economic development. For Adoa Business News, Nanya Makolison, Accra.
So on this note, we declare the Ghana Economic Forum launched. Thank you.
Elsewhere, Director of Business Operations at Daylex Finance Company, Joe Jackson, has urged the government to take drastic measures on sale of some states' assets to increase revenue mobilization ahead of the 2022 budget presentation, since the country's economy is not in good standing. He spoke to my colleague Nanya Makolison.
Remember, we've just come through COVID. So we've come through a very, very tough time. It will not be fixed in a year. So things are still tough, albeit they are improving, right? So you ask me about how the economy is doing, I'll tell you, things are tough, but they are improving. Now, with respect to the budget, we want to see what the government will do long term to reduce the borrowing and to raise revenue. We can't just keep borrowing. One of the things I want to see happen is that the government to sell off some of the state assets. Some of the big stakes in some of the companies must be sold so that the revenue requirement for next year will drop a bit, right? And there are some hard decisions we have to take. What I'm looking for is a budget where we take the hard decisions and we tell the Ghanaian public that you can't have everything that you want. That this country is at the moment, after years of mismanagement and COVID, the country is broke. It is broke. And so you've got to get to the point where when you are broke, you sit down with the members of the family and you say, we are in a crisis, so this is what we are going to do.
Speaking on taxation, Mr. Jackson said,
we need to take off some of the consumption taxes to boost growth. Yet at the same time, we need to raise more taxes by taxing the wealthy, taxing the rich. So what I'm hoping will happen is that some of the consumption taxes on fuel, on the voice and data will go off or will be reduced. And they will be replaced by taxes that may be harder to collect, but will be targeted at the rich and wealthy. For example, a property tax, a national property tax.
He also touched on high interest rates.
Well, the two things that you've got to understand. There's only a pot of money to be given out as loans. If the government takes the biggest share, there's very little left for everybody else, because the government is almost riskless. So long as the government keeps borrowing at the rate at which it is borrowing, the private sector will not see enough funds. If you want to see the private sector have more access to funds, please reduce the borrowing of the government.
My final one, maybe this might not be to you, but to the organizers. I have attended programs, seminars like this, conferences like this. When we talk about most of the things that we need to do, government have to do, stakeholders have to take step to do, we end up talking and leaving and going without any implication. What's your thoughts on we coming on conferences like this, talk and leave, and we see no results in the actual census?
Well, first of all, if we don't talk about it, we can't even start to solve it. So talking about it is a good first step. And the Ghana Economic Forum has a better record at getting government to listen than the other events that I've been involved in. So we are hopeful. You can't force the government to listen. You can't force the economic managers to listen. You can't force the authorities and the regulators to do anything. You can only hope that when a reputable event sends memorandum to them, they will listen to it.
Thanks so much for staying with us, but I'll be back with some sports news. Do stay.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
Malaria and tea. You are yet more bono. Malaria, therefore, yao. Enti awo. I shouldn't customers. When you say, Mammy, I am smart. I perceive Malakio. I'm man the buyer or the eco school. Share. Say a Janisi berry market ni malaria and tea. I want to mean. And smell Emma when we are to walk. So we are malaria test. Maybe one. And better one. And the CB Malakio. You do not. And now kick out bomb as soon as I CB Malakio. And no way so there. And I know grow. I yet tata shit.
A drawing your ma appeal for. About a woman for. Any quada would feed
Susiana. What would you with you?
FD Ashusha sa a jedi and cratoimu adia to Muse.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
John, who fin you? Wow, Eddie, one boy juma. I check a roofing now. Oh, you fell one casa from Asatec. Oh, now Simon, roofing is a baby bray, nice keke. Why the catch you? Asatec roofing sheet today, and your nice keke with the bodan swa a chee and renache. They want a calice who go for fair be bray. No new free roofing sheet no dear. Who near that will be out. Now so the bodan swa a hero supampe. What means which Roman send your open roofing sheet no? You tell the salmon pepe. Mama poor Asatec money there. One of my technical advice na estimate free or professional installers nso a your on-site installation ne bo so kra da fam pa. Oh yes, quality ne bo da fam nyen. Asatec 5 days pay na musa kan order na wo ye after sales service papa bi nso. Hwehwe Asatec Watema Community 2 Meridian Road Ebenkoko Board Warehouse Western Region. So Asatec Takrade Anaji ye ne Princeland Hotel and di hwene mu and na Volta Region ye wo Akachi South District Assembly kwan so ha.
Welcome back. Let's do some sports news. Now the Asenema wins maiden edition of the Ujura Beach Soccer Cup on penalties after defeating Mampong 3-1 on penalties. 20 towns in the eastern region, including Mampong, Deu, Aprede, etc., registered to compete in the inland competition.
The Ujura Beach Soccer Cup, which was the auspices of the Kiapim Hene Nanao Sadia Yo Kwesi Akufo III, came off at Asenema, a town in the eastern region. The competition started with 20 teams competing in the group stages before the knockout stage on the final day. However, 8 teams made it to the knockout stage. Mampong played Amanukrom in the first quarter-finals, which they won by 1-0. Dewu, Asenema, Aprede all made it to the semi-final stage, after which a ballot was cast to pair the teams in the 1/4 stage. Mampong qualified to the finals at the expense of Dewu in the first semi-final. However, Asenema had to qualify to the final on penalties when the game ended 1-1. The Ekuapim Hene Nanao Sadia Yo Kwesi Akufo III later came in the day to the venue to witness the Beach Soccer Cup played on hinterland for the first time. In a brief address, he said that the organizers have done a good job for bringing beach soccer to the Eastern Enclave.
Nifa hene wa ha ene so meda na asese wa ma ya asase a ye dia ye beach soccer na esi wa he dia na ya dia ti se ye di tu nim se ye bebo modern ama sport a ewo impwa no a ye ni bi wa ha no ye di bi aba ha na mobile so no na ye beach soccer no pe na wa ha na Ghana men na say ye will be say wo Nifa division ha ebukom ha one bra na one be share waterfalls na one share serene environments na ye won na yen fam boa na to bi nko enim intino okay this asida ke say ode Nifa hene asida ke say ode na edo bibiara say so wa ha munje muni organizers ni sponsors ni partners ni na yada masipi ebin brebium na me sure say afida says na sa bebium na mo beba no so na ha na sisa na ye fefefe nti no munje muni na mo nkai say onyankopon na edi ni medamase.
The two finalists, Asinema and Mampong, were given new sets of jerseys for the final. Africa's record AFCON goal king Alexander Jete led Asinema in the final. In the penalty shootout, Mampong missed 2 kicks, which made Asinema win the maiden edition of the 2021 Ojura Beach Soccer Cup. Medals were presented to both teams by the Kiapimhine Nana Osiadeyo Kwesi Akufo III. At the end of the competition, the best player, Richard Osa, was awarded 250 Ghana cedis. Alexander Ajete gained 250 Ghana cedis. Ajay Gideon also won the best goalkeeper. Best defender went to Joseph Awunisi, and the best coach went to Coach Yusuf Abdullahi.
Meanwhile, stakeholders and organizers of the Beach Soccer Cup are calling on investors and corporate organizations to sponsor in order to organize it annually.
First of all, I want to give thanks to God for making everything possible for my players and my guys winning the trophy. Secondly, it's a big exposure for me, and this is not my first time. I won the Goal King 2015 in Seychelles, so I would like to put it that I'm having the experience and this thing to take this one, and by the grace of God, I've won it.
He further went on to call on corporate organizations to come on board to sponsor beach soccer.
Truly, which is this year, we are about to travel to play our African Cup, but possibly things didn't go on well. And secondly, sometimes if we are about to travel, we really find challenges. And I want to put it like, I'll be glad if we have sponsorship like how we are having here, and Ghanaians will help us, because beach soccer is a very nice game and a good game. If like you sit down watching it and all sorts of things, it's a nice game. So we will be glad if Ghanaians will get more sponsorship from other sides to support beach soccer, and I think it is going to help us all.
Yao Jimfi Aweri, chairman for the Ghana Beach Soccer Union, also gave reasons why they were able to organize the Beach Soccer Cup at the hinterland.
The reason why we've been able to do this and what will benefit the youth also is that you can see we have 20 teams participating in this tournament. Assuming these 20 teams, we have 15 players in every club, and these 15 players times 20, that's about 300 youth that have been engaged here today and as well as tomorrow. Assuming they're sitting at home doing nothing, they will be thinking of doing something like, excuse me to say, Sakawa or any other bad thing. But we're bringing this, trying to let them know that they have future. So when they engage themselves in this, they can also be seen on the TV or anywhere, and they can be choosing to be having a contract. That's how now we're having someone like Christian Achu, Dede Ayu, and all those Ghanaian foreign players. Not all about association football, but beach soccer can also send them afar. We are not limited to a cinema force alone. Now we have plans for all the other regions who are not part of the coastal belt. Because when we talk about the coastal belt, we're talking about Volta region, Greater Accra, Western, and then Central. But we can also move to the Brona Hafo, Ashanti region, Oti, Eastern, and all other. We are in the Eastern region now, and all other places. Even we are not limited. When we talk about Eastern region, it's not all about a cinema here. It can be in Koko, it can be anywhere. So we are available. We've made ourselves available for any other region or community that want Beach Soccer Ghana to come on board.
Frederica J. Rudolph, Eastern Regional Director for Ghana Tourism Authority, in an interview with the media said that putting up this facility did not come that easily. They will need a lot of funds, resources, and sponsorships if they will be able to organize it annually.
Because of the falls and the way we want the falls to run, especially that is the main attraction here, we would want it to be almost a daily affair. But to be able to do that, you can see that putting up this facility didn't come that easy. We'll need a lot of funds, resources, and sponsorship. So left to me alone, it will be counterproductive if we do it.
That's how we wrap up on tonight's bulletin. My name is Nafa Alikwaku. Major thanks for staying with us throughout, but you can also log on to our website, Adoa News Online, for more stories. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good evening.